What is going on, guys? Spasmatic here, back inside Destiny, and today I'm going to be going over a setup or build of what I usually run on my Stormcaller for my Warlock for PvP and PvE. For this build for PvP and PvE is totally my opinion, what I recommend basically, but it's what I run. You do not have to run this. I'm not forcing you to do this. I'm just giving my opinion out of what I think is the best to run for the Stormcaller for PvP and PvE. So to get into the class build here, I'm going to start off with PvP first. So let's start this off. So for the grenade for PvP, I recommend Arc Bolt Grenade. I know it did get a huge nerf from year 1 to year 2. Year 1 it was insane, probably one of the best nades in the game. But since it got that nerf, so it does like 97 per hit now, which really isn't that good. I still recommend it because Pulse Grenade really isn't that good. Storm Grenade, it's alright, but the radius of it, when you throw it, just does like lightning bolts on the ground, which really doesn't have the good of a radius, and it can easily be dodged. Arc Bolt is kind of hard to get away because it chains a bolt of lightning to nearby enemies. So I recommend Arc Bolt, still okay. Still recommend that for the Stormcaller for PvP. For the jump, anything is good. I recommend Focus Burst for all my Warlock jumps other than Voidwalker, because I think I run Blink on Voidwalker. But for the Stormcaller, run Focus Burst. You get an initial boost of speed, so you can get to certain places on the map to get a map advantage against the enemy. So recommend Focus Burst, especially for trials, to get to a certain spot on the map before the other team, like I said before. So Focus Burst, probably one of the best jumps to run for the Stormcaller. For the super here, the super perk, I recommend Iconic Blink. You can run Landfall if you want to run this, jump over your enemy and create a devastating shockwave under you. But the only thing about Landfall is that it does not guarantee you a kill. If you do jump over your enemy, you can get a hit marker from it. It does not guarantee a free kill, but you can run this if you want. You can also run these gloves here, the Impossible Machines, which grant landfall, but I really don't. I'm not a big fan of landfall in PvP, so I probably will not be running that. I'll be running Iconic Blink, Ionic Blink, my bad, which is really good for dodging like sniper shots and stuff like that, shotgun shots, so you can get away from that well. And you gotta learn how to use this good and like good moments to use it, because you don't want to blink and get sniped right as you blink, which will be kind of embarrassing. It would suck if you're in the middle of a trials match, you pop your Stormcaller and you just get sniped right off of it. So learn to blink really good, so you know how to dodge those sniper shots and stuff like that. So Ionic Blink is probably what I would run for PvP. For the melee, I recommend Amplitude 100%. I really don't think Rising Storm or Chain Lightning are that good. But for the melee, I recommend Thunderstrike because the Stormcaller has the greatest range of any melee inside of Destiny. This thing is basically a sniper. The sniper melee basically is what it's called. This thing has crazy range. So if you're using Stormcaller, I recommend Amplitude out of all the melee perks. For the armor recovery and agility, I recommend Max Armor. I think this is Max Armor for the Stormcaller. So yeah, Max Armor, recovery, and low agility. I think this is the best I can get it. So yeah, that's probably the best I can get it. So running Max Armor, mid recovery, and agility. So I'll be running Arcane Force and Divine Order. For the middle here, it's kind of run any of these. I tend to run a Pulse Wave because I know if you know what sweats are, a competitive like 3v3 game mode that a lot of top tier players play, is that Pulse Wave really helps with players that boost their speed for you and your allies, so they get faster handling and reloaded speed for all their weapons and everything, which is pretty good. But if you're running sixes like pubs with your friends or something, Transcendence is really good. Whenever you pop your super and you have full grenade and melee, your health will be restored, and your super will drain slower, so your super will last like 30 seconds or something, which is crazy. Like the longest lasting super in the game as well. And feedback really isn't that great. I've never really seen anyone use it, so Transcendence or Pulse Wave is what I recommend for PvP. For the last column for PvP, I probably run Electrostatic Mine, so you get Storm Trance charges faster when allies are near, and when Storm Trance is active, nearby enemies take damage, which is probably the best perk to run for this. Enemies damaged by grenades chain deadly lightning to nearby enemies. You already got Arc Bolt, so you really don't want to chain that more, because whenever you're playing in control or something like that, you really won't have like 4 people next to each other to chain that arc bolt to every single person. So arc web really isn't that great of a perk, and perpetual charge is pretty good, but I'd rather run electrostatic mine over that any day because you can get your super faster, and your enemies will take damage whenever they're near you. So this is what I would run for PvP for the Stormcaller. For PvE, probably not much of a change. I'd probably run Storm, possibly Storm, and then for the super, I would run Superconductor. I know that's pretty good for PvE. You can also run Ionic Blink to dodge like Vandal snipes or something like that. Some major captains, stuff like that. But Superconductor is pretty good because in PvE there's a ton of enemies. It's not like a 5-man team. Whenever you're doing like a Hive raid or something like that, if you want to do the King's Fall raid, you can kill a bunch of Thrall with this because the Storm Trance Lightning doubles the chaining capabilities. So it's pretty good. For the melee, I'd recommend still using Amplitude. The melee range on this is just crazy. For Chain Lightning, really don't think those are that good. I'd still run with Amplitude for that. For Armor Recovery and Agility, I'd still run the exact same for PvE as well, so that would stay the same. For this middle column here, I would most likely run Transcendence still, because whenever, if you're weak or something and you have full grenade melee in PvE, you can pop your super and you'll heal yourself in case you're about to die in a hard raid or something, a King's Fall raid. Pop your super, get full health, and you'll be good to go. For the last column, I recommend Electrostatic Mine because, of course, like I said, PvE, if you're doing a strike, a story mission, or a raid with friends, you're always going to be next to allies, so your Storm Trance will charge faster and nearby enemies will take damage. And of course in PvE there's a lot of enemies, so they'll be taking more damage than usual. So this is what I recommend for PvP and PvE for the Stormcaller. Pretty good setup in my opinion. But you guys can run whatever you want. I'm not forcing you to run this build. Like I said before in the beginning of the video, you can run whatever you want. This is what I would run for PvP and PvE. And if you guys got any other changes you want to share with me, what you guys run inside of PvE and PvP for your Stormcallers, be sure to put that in the comment section down below. I'll be sure to check that out. And to go over my armor, really nothing of a big deal, but I usually run a ram with these gloves, chest piece, boots, stuff like that. I usually run Discipline Strength roll on Warlocks, full Discipline Strength for the Stormcaller, and Sunsinger for the Voidwalker. I usually run Intellect Discipline, which I also got a build for that. So Discipline Strength is probably the best to run on a Stormcaller. If not, I'd run Intellect Strength because the melee on the Stormcaller is crazy. So this will wrap up what I run for me Stormcaller, for the setup and build for what I run for Stormcaller. And if you guys enjoyed this video, my review or whatever, the setup build for the Stormcaller, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later back inside Destiny. Peace.